Not to be confused, right? This takes a while. It takes a while to build up your
100%.
operation. Like you're not going to start in real estate tomorrow.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get to a point where you're batting, you know.
Yeah, opportunity plus knowledge looks like luck.
This is turning into a little master class on direct mail, dude. Thank you for sharing all these golden nuggets.
Yeah, I have gross profit is vanity. Net profit is sanity.
Yeah. Oh.
Dangling some
you're
shiny
dangling some
objects.
shiny stuff.
Let's go.
Damn. Fam, what's up? Welcome back to the CEO Pulse podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. We're here on another episode of the REI Wholesaling series. All right, we're sitting down with Josh Hacks. Dude, you have this very particular process. You're hitting hard on the direct mail side, and we're gonna roll into entrepreneurship and mindset and all kinds of bells and whistles. But I do have a couple of key questions, because you're doing a few of the harder things that we see in the industry, and then you're doing them successfully. All right. First off, you're doing business in Pennsylvania, which is, in my opinion, one of the toughest states to operate in. You're using direct mail campaigns. I mean, you're talking about, $400,000 months on occasion, right? So it obviously leads to a big track record. You've been able to build a 5 million plus portfolio, real estate portfolio. So I mean, you have accolades stacking through the years. And I mean, there's just so much to unpack, bro. Thank you so much for taking the trip down here and sitting down with me.
Yeah, I appreciate you recognizing me. I mean, I feel honored. I have heard your name in circles for a while, so it feels good to be on the podcast and to be recognized by you.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. So walk me through I guess memory lane, right? First off, how'd you get into real estate? And back in 2014, you said you got started, right?
Yep. So I have kind of a crazy background, but I got into real estate in the property management side. So I was the owner agent. So I'd go and meet with owners of properties here in Maricopa County, actually. And this is 2014, so the values hadn't come back from the crash. So a lot of people were still underwater, but they could rent out their properties and they could cash flow $400 or $500 a month. And so I'm like, man, how do I make $400 or $500 a month and have someone else do all the work? Like, that's great. So I started researching how to buy rentals, how to buy properties, and then I switched management companies. And the one thing that the first company did right was they were really good at getting leads.
Were you a licensed agent at a time?
I was licensed, yep. So the first company I was with is On Q Property Management, and they were awesome. They paid for me to get my license. They trained me up. They had really great systems in place. And so I think I kind of outgrew what I wanted to do, and I think they recognized that too. Like I felt like I had a higher calling and like, hey, I want to make more money as well. So switched companies. And then when I did that, I went to a different company who wasn't generating a ton of leads, who wasn't, super quick on their follow-up. And so I recognized like those are very important things in real estate, especially in property management. Like someone would submit a lead form and we'd call within a minute. Yeah. And I was the person doing it. So like they would pick up the phone like,
speed to lead, man. It's never changed.
Right? And they're like, I just submitted my info and you're already calling me? And I'm like, yeah, we pride ourselves on communication. They were sold just like that, and so I realized the importance of that. And then the second company I was with, they actually weren't generating nearly as many leads. And so I took it upon myself, like, how do I find great leads? And so that's kind of what, got me started. And that like YouTube University, I never paid for any courses or anything like that. I just like, I don't know if I'm too dumb or too smart, but I just like plowed my way through.
Well, you're definitely not on the first tier. I'm telling you, you're definitely not on the dumb tier. But I mean, there's and it's very interesting, right? Like, because I feel like you can hit it, but you got to have the drive and self accountability for it. Yeah. So information is out there, man. I say it all the time. Yep. People can literally just get off their couch and start doing stuff, right? If they paint the picture of the life they want, absolutely, and walking towards it. All the information is out there. Yep. And I feel like it's the drive that's lagging, on a lot of people that want to jump into entrepreneurship. They want to be their own boss, and bet on themselves, right? So,
And a lot of people want that quick fix.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that I always tell people, and I'm sure you could appreciate this, is like real estate isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's a get rich for sure.
Right.
Right. So like if you're in real estate long enough,
I like that.
You'll figure some things out. So like don't do it to get rich quick. Do it to get rich for sure.
Mm.
And if you're in it long enough and you learn the right things and you're around the right people, that'll happen. And so, you know, with that YouTube University knowledge, you know, I found BiggerPockets, which we've all heard of. And this is way back when. So they were interviewing all sorts of different guests. And one of them was a guy who did tons of direct mail, and he was all about direct mail and kind of was against wholesaling. He's like, you wholesalers are dumb. Like, you're only getting 10% of the projected profit. I close on it, put it on the MLS, and get 100% of the profit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's kind of interesting, you know? And when I got started in PA, like, I didn't have cash buyers. Like, I wasn't known, but I was getting decent deals. And so I would just take them down. And that's like a little further along in the story. Like, my very first deal was a 35-unit apartment building that we got 99% seller financing on. So we bought this 35-unit building for 1.35, and then 8 months later, after we had renovated it and I worked the property management magic, you know, bumping the rents, lowering the expenses.
Yeah, you took your experience into the deal, yeah.
Yep. So I bumped the NOI up a ton, and so we put $13,500 down. 8 months later, we got a cashier's check, cash out refinance of $387,000.
Whew.
Yeah.
Talk about a first deal, bro.
I know. I'm like, I'm going to be rich, you know?
Yeah.
And then every deal after that's so much harder, you know? No one wants to do seller financing. And
well, I mean, your proof of concept was epic.
oh,
though.
yeah, for sure.
You know, there's always, you know, when you get hit with proof of concept, it doesn't matter if it's a 5K deal or a 300,000. You know,
the fire lights.
Exactly. Like, you realize, man, there's something here.
I just
this
made
is
money.
real.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, but I mean, huge congrats on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep. And I kind of always had that like drive and wanted to be successful. And so like even when I was in property management here, one of my cousins who had lived in the same neighborhood, he's like, you're in real estate, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you ever sell a house? I'm like, no, but I'll figure it out. Like, I can figure it out. I will figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, other people have done this before. Like, I can figure it out. Like, give me a shot. So I'm like, I'll list your house for 1%, and then I'll get paid on when you buy a house, right? And so like, I ended up helping him out. And I remember I got a check for like $7,000. And at the time, I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, this is unbelievable, you know? And I'm like, how do I do this like once a week?
Yeah.
Just once a week, you know? And so then you start learning how to get more leads and whatever. And then the property manager one day comes walking down and he's like, hey, you know how to sell a house, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. You know, and I think the first house hadn't even sold yet.
Say yes and figure it out later.
So I did, but then I was like, oh, we have this whole group of owners that are not being nurtured, that are not like, they don't even know what their houses are worth. And like, we had a lot of investors from Canada who had bought houses here in Arizona during the crash, you know, which was 3-4 years prior. And so a lot of them were like, oh, I don't even know what my house is worth. So I'd send them like a CMA, like an automated CMA. Damn. And they're like, oh my God, it's worth that? Yeah, I want to sell. So every month now it was like, I'm sending this email, blasting it out. So I always tried to figure out like, how do I make this easier, faster, more efficient, and try and help people out. So,
so that's where you started with email marketing, obviously, you know, rolling out CMAs. I mean, I'm assuming they were individual.
Yep.
You would actually run the CMA and then send it out to the investor type of stuff?
There was a program called like Cloud CMA.
Oh,
and so they could like click a link, submit their property address, and it would give them all of the data except for the suggested price. So that's where you step in, call them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so
like you give them just enough sauce.
A good friend used the analogy a while back, and it just stayed with me, right? Like, if you have a carpet installation business, Like, yeah, you can, roll out and install the carpet for free, but you just don't do the edges.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't do the edges.
Yeah.
People are going to come to you because they want the edges done.
Exactly.
So it's massive value.
For sure.
Right? It's massive value.
Yep.
And then you come in and then like that last little thing is the thing that just kind of, makes
smart.
it click. So
I like it.
So
That's brilliant.
But yeah, no, that's incredible, man. Well, and then seeing the opportunity, right? Like I feel there's a thought process there or a pattern, right? Of how can I do this more often? How can I do this easier? And I've seen you. I mean, we haven't had the pleasure of hanging out too much, but we're in a local mastermind together. We've talked a couple of times there. I see you on social all the time. Like you're pretty active. Love the ride, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I thought about
Nice
bringing
car.
it today. Yeah.
And so you're always out there, but you're always thinking outside the box. I mean, from that to different verticals and different businesses. I mean,
Sure.
I feel like that's a type of hunger, right? That we gotta have as entrepreneurs, and it's the type of behaviors and habits that are gonna click, right? Especially in the real estate space, man, because this is competitive as it gets. I mean, I think
it's tough, and I mean, I don't know how the guys here in Phoenix do it. I mean, I know a lot of people, we know a lot of people, and it's like it's tough out here. And you have people spending $1 million a month in ads, and there's 10 of them.
Right.
It's like, dude, you're going to bat with some monsters. And so, I like my market. We're dialed in. We're known there. Like we have the brand recognition there, which is cool.
So now you're doing. I mean, do you still wholesale at all, or are you just doing fix and flip?
So January 4th or 5th of 2025,
because that just changed.
They changed the laws. So we have flipped. So when I got that cash out refi on that very first apartment deal, I started sending out mail because I actually felt like, oh, I'm a cash buyer now. I can pay cash for a property, and I had always seen the letters and the signs or whatever, and I'm like, they actually don't have cash. Like I feel like it wasn't genuine, and so I was like, I don't like that. And so then once I had cash, I'm like, oh, I'm a cash buyer now. Like I can send mail and feel confident that I could close. And so like my business partner at the time, he's like, oh, I don't want to do flips. Like flips are they're too risky, and he was a doctor by trade. So like doctors are very conservative, but we had partnered 50-50 on that apartment deal. So, initially he was going to put up collateral, and then I was going to get a loan for my 50% down, but then we negotiated seller financing. So it was like, we don't need any money. Like we just put our own money in, and we self-funded everything, and it was awesome. But then when I got
what was the I'm just curious on that first deal. So you had 13,000, call it 14 on a down payment, right?
Yep.
Because you had 1% down.
Yep.
Which is incredible. And then what was the lift on it? Like how much was that? Because obviously it was a value add type of property. You had to come in and then improve the rents.
So it was such an easy deal for a few reasons. The 35 units had already been separately metered, but the owner was still paying all the utilities.
Yeah.
So, and I know on commercial deals, if people don't know, like the value is calculated on the net operating income and the market cap rate. So you divide whatever that net operating income is by the market cap rate.
Right. So
it was an 8 cap in our market. And so like for every $8,000 that you increase the NOI, it's $100,000 in value add. So, for example, once we took over the building, all the leases were month to month. And some of these tenants didn't have leases. They were like paying weekly.
Mismanaged
in studios. And the guy lived in Mexico, the owner. But he had like a 82-year-old property manager lady who like wasn't tracking anything.
Yeah.
The repair guy was like 89 years old, like... And you could just tell when he repaired something, you're like, oh, that was Chet, whatever. But so we build back utilities and we bumped the rents. And that was like month 1. We got everyone on our leases, so we had a little more control. We kept everyone month to month so that if there was a bad apple, we could get them out quick.
Right.
Like the studios were getting $300 a month. And so the second month after we did that, we bumped the NOI like $4 or $5 grand the second month. So we used that $4 or $5 grand to do new flooring, paint in one of the studios. And then we bumped that rent from $300 to $600. And so like we were doubling the rents in some of these units. And then the 2 bedrooms were getting like $650 to $750. We bumped those after remodel to like $1,100. So like a lot of that cash that we used to remodel, like I think my partner put in 20 or 25,000 if I remember right. And then when we got that cash out refi, we deducted that from the total cash out, gave him his money back, and then we split the rest. So once it was all said and done, I think I personally got out like 155,000 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's that'll definitely break your brain. Oh, you know, you see it operate like that, and at this point, I'm assuming you're going off of just theory and
well, and you got to remember too, like, so I moved to Pennsylvania in August of 2016. This is January of 2017. We buy this property, so it's like I'm there for months, and I'm like, this looks like an opportunity, smells like an opportunity, and a lot of people like I hate the like, oh man, you got so lucky. Yeah, it's like, motherfucker, I learned for 4 years every day on _pockets so that when I saw an opportunity, I knew what an opportunity was. So it's like opportunity plus knowledge looks like luck.
Yeah, exactly. It really does. You're training for opportunity when you're doing that kind of stuff, right? Yep. And I feel like that's another thing. I mean, you said it right earlier. It's not an overnight, get rich overnight type of process in real estate. It even for example, even on wholesaling, right? The theory, you theoretically, like you come in and then you get a property under contract and then you assign it and then you sell it. Like you can be, once you have your operation going, you can create a conveyor belt that works, right? And yeah, your timelines are a lot shorter, but finding that seller, getting into a deal like that, being able to analyze and structure the the ins and outs.
Talk to the seller.
Exactly. Learn how to have those conversations. It takes knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and then a lot of people won't see like getting that very first deal is so critical because you might go through 50 sellers before you get that first one that's like, oh yeah, I'll sell to you at the price that you want, on the terms that you want. Yeah. And it's the right house, like a lot of things have to line up, but like by getting that practice and skill and whatever, like it looks like, oh my God, overnight success. But on that apartment deal, we didn't get paid for 8 months. Yeah. And I was working every single day for 8 months and I didn't get a dollar, So it's like, we were just hoping like, man, we hope this works out. Yeah.
The appraisal comes in right.
Yeah. And I remember it was September 16th, 2016. And I remember like scrolling through, like, where the appraisals, it'll be
it worked because it was Mexican Independence Day, bro.
Oh, there we go.
That's why it worked.
Yeah. And the guy we bought it from lived in Mexico. So
there you
perfect.
go. Yeah. There you go.
I remember scrolling down and it was 2.58 million. And I remember calling my partner. I'm like, we fucking did it. Like, dude, the joy, and I'm big on like mentality and like, putting those like positive vibes into the universe, aligning yourself with like those vibrations, whatever. And it's like, you think about,
don't minimize, don't say whatever. It's like, it's definitely a thing.
A lot of people get all woo woo about it, but like,
dude, like to each their own, right? But I'm a firm believer in that kind of stuff. It's like if you feel something, you believe in something, advocate for it, right? Yep. And you're completely right. The way that we speak about things, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we, what you'll never hear me say something I don't want to manifest come out of my mouth. Right. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like, I don't know, like, oh my back hurts or something, something like that. It's like, no, if I have pain or whatever, it's healing, it's getting better, but I always say what I want, even like the thought will come through, right? Yep. But the power of the spoken word is a real thing. 100%. And it's very much in alignment with energy. It's very much in alignment with
and my point on that
what
is
you're talking about right now. So
when I'm trying to manifest something, like I'll try to go to that moment where it's like it all came together just the way we wanted. Yeah. And then like when you apply that same mentality to the next goal, the next thing you're trying to accomplish, like it comes easier. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because you're in that zone, that state, that flow. Like, I don't know if you've ever played ping pong. Yeah. I'm a ping pong guy, pickleball, whatever. But like, I'll be playing ping pong and I'll get into this flow where it's like, I know where the ball's going. I know where I'm putting it. Yeah. And it's like, the universe is just moving around me and I'm just in it, like it's great. But yeah, so
That's awesome. Well, I mean, if you can do that in business, man,
for sure.
I mean, huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And it's hard because, dude, we take licks, man. Like
Oh, dude, yeah.
we
Tell
have
me about
hard
it.
days. Like I just recorded a video on the way over because, you know, you're driving. It's an hour drive from where I live to here. And, you know, I was thinking about it. And like today I have this challenge that I'm dealing with where my conversion tracking on Meta ads for another business I have is like not sending the right signal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like very technical. I'm not super technical. Like I just kind of stumble my way through those types of problems and figure it out. And so it broke, whatever it was, you know, like whatever. I haven't figured it out yet, but it's like I feel stuck on that problem. But like we get stuck at every level.
Yeah.
And thankfully I have a network of friends and entrepreneurs and business associates and whatever. So like I called up one of my buddies and I'm like, hey dude, I'm lost on this problem. Like, can you help me out? Oh yeah, man. How about 2 p.m. today? We take a look at it. And it's like, if only we had that if only people getting started knew that like, you're going to get stuck. It's normal. Yeah. And just because we're at the level we're at, you're still going to get stuck with different challenges.
Let me ask you this. How far were you into your entrepreneurship journey when you realized like, shit, man, I can move a lot faster if I'm surrounded by people?
Probably, I still struggle with that, but because I feel like I took like the predictive index. So I'm Maverick, like through and through Maverick.
Yeah.
So like I just
surprise.
What's that?
surprise.
I know. So I joined the first mastermind that I've been in, which is Investor Fuel, last January. So January of 24. And so like I've learned a lot, but I've also recognized like there's certain things that don't work in my market that work really well in other markets. And so like I've almost been like frustrated that I've been sold on some things that don't work as well in my market. And so it's like I need to dial back to what I know works for me and my business and my market. But having I think the biggest thing that I've gotten from the mastermind is just like good relationships. Like that's actually how we met, because 𝗵𝗲𝗏, we went to your office, your old spot, and that's where we met. And it's like, man, I want to be around people like you, people like Vic, like other people that are in the industry that are doing stuff. Because like, man, just being able to talk about things that are happening in your business is so valuable, because you're like, oh man, like that guy's dealing with other shit too. Yeah. But people see us on social media, or they see the house or the car or whatever, and they're like, man, that must be nice. It's like, bro, it comes with, there's a price tag, you know, like there's challenges.
The overnight success usually takes about 10 years.
100%.
You know? So if you do the math on your stuff, I mean, back 2014.
I know.
It's pretty incredible, man. I mean, I talk about that stuff all the time too, right? Because I was a huge advocate for just keeping it, you know, everything guarded, right? Like I wouldn't have conversations with people. I just didn't know I could. I mean, honestly, I think that's what it came down to. I would deal with, you know, issues and problems and just try to break with, you know, walls through with my forehead, as opposed to switching my modality to who, not how, right? Who can help me through this? If you know, there's a lot of things, like you said, we come, you know, against and we hit that it's not in our best interest to spend a week trying to figure that shit out. You know what I mean? Like call somebody, like for example, you at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah. You know, call somebody who can help me with that Meta, you know, ads thing, and it's gonna, you know,
it'll take them 5 minutes.
It'll take them 5 minutes.
But I could be still figuring it out right now. And then like frustrated that I'm not figuring it out, and then it spills over into everything else. No, absolutely. That who, not how mentality. I mean, we can go a lot further. You know, it's pretty interesting, man, because I had this cliche on competition, and I've never been good at keeping, like for example, if something works in my business, I've been great at not asking for help. I mean, that's where the whole, you know, the comment of, you know, me keeping stuff guarded. Sure. It's like, it's just, no, I'm always the guy helping. I'm not the guy, you know, asking for help. Absolutely. Right. And I feel like that goes back to my firefighter years, and like, it's, well, just, you don't want to appear weak either. It's a me thing, right? Like totally a me thing. And so I've been good about that, which is stupid. I've been really good about giving out help. Sure. Right.
I've been really good about, something works in the business and whatnot. I'll talk to people about it. It's like, yeah, let's run through it real quick. Might help you in the biz, right? And so it's always been kind of like a one-way, not for the past few years, but since I discovered, I think maybe 2018 was really when the switch.
Do you think it was after you swapped to Nationwide that you were more giving of info?
No, because I think 2018, I started getting into more groups. I started collaborating with more people.
Yep.
Brandon Simmons actually put together.
I know Brandon.
Yeah, my boy. Shout out Brandon. Brandon Simmons put together the Go Giver Mastermind.
Okay,
And he calls me. So him and I used to work together back for Sean Terry back in the day. I was acquisition, so I was locking up all the deals, and he was dispositions.
Yep.
Right. So it was like dynamic duo right there.
Yeah. Killers, straight killers,
dude. We're crushing it,
Yeah.
and I stepped down after about 3 years of working with acquisitions for Sean and did my own thing and after I don't know maybe 3 months later Brandon calls me up and goes, hey dude, I have this idea. I want to put a mastermind together. Like, well, I've heard of masterminds. I was actually already in a mastermind, just wasn't aware it was a mastermind. It was just like a get together of people that we just get together and talk through shit, right?
Yeah.
So it was a version of a mastermind at that point, but it was like, yeah, and it's like, what's it about? He goes like, well, I want to get everybody who's doing business in the county, like here in Phoenix, just get them all in a room and start talking about like what's working for them. I was like, what?
Why would I tell anyone that?
well, no, I was all for it. That was the thing. I was like, yeah, I'll go share. And I told him, yeah, dude, count me in, I'll go. In my head though, I was like, I doubt it's gonna work.
Oh yeah.
I was skeptic about it, right? I was okay sharing, but I didn't think anybody else was gonna share.
Right.
And lo and behold, man, we meet up and I think we're doing another one. I think there's gonna be one like
anniversary party.
Yeah, anniversary, or I don't know. He's calling it something, but it's been years since we got together, but it's gonna be fun. So, anyways, so we go there, get up in the room, and then I can't remember. I think he started sharing the stuff that was working, and then somebody else pitched in. Then I pitched in, and then we started talking, just discussion, right?
Yeah.
And problem solving.
Yeah.
And this is back in 2017, dude, 16. So it wasn't a common thing to share ideas.
That's dope.
And I think 17, 18 was when we were doing the most of it. That's where I met Brent Daniels. We became really good friends after that. But anyways, we started sharing. We started like, okay, this is the marketing that's working. This is the I have this problem, guys. I have this problem property. Oh, I have a buyer for that. Let's make money together. And then it was like, oh shit, this thing really takes off when you collaborate.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible. I think. I'm going to call it an epiphany for me because I just didn't know that's how the world worked.
Yeah.
Right. And
I haven't gotten there yet, truthfully. When I started in my market, like I sent out my first mailer and I maybe sent out 2,000 or 3,000 pieces, like a very small, dude, I got, my first deal that I got from that one mailing was like a $55,000 profit. I had another lead that was a $30,000 profit, and then another flip that was a $30,000 profit from one mailer.
From one mailing campaign?
From one mailer. And so, as time has gone on, more people have come into the market, more people are trying to buy. Like I'm competing now, and I'm like,
is this in Pennsylvania?
It's in Pennsylvania.
So I think there might, I don't know, there might be a play for different things, right? Like for example, I'm not calling that a blue ocean, but it's definitely a lot tougher to do business in Pennsylvania, which you are doing successfully. Yeah. But you're not going to have a bazillion dudes like we do here in Phoenix.
Yeah,
right?
You don't. And truthfully, the wholesaling laws that changed in January have helped us because we have the ability to close and we do close. And like, we've been known as closers for a long time. And like, that's how I started in the business, was like, I would just take things down, fix and flip it, and then sell it. Yeah. And then like a few years later, I'm like, well, this deal doesn't really work for me, but let me call my buddy. And then he bought it. And then I'm like, man, there really is something to this. Like, it's so much easier. Like I get cash like way faster. So we went pretty heavy into wholesaling. I brought on an acquisition manager, and this is like back in the days when we could do texting and launch control and like all that stuff.
Back in the glory days.
But
of
I hated all the sellers being pissed that we're sending them texts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you can handle all this. You can text the people. I don't want to see that. Like, I don't like people telling me to F off all day long, right? So he's like, oh, absolutely. And so shout out Kyle. He's been with me for years now, and he's still my acquisition manager, killing it. So we've been through some, shit together, but that's when we really started doing wholesaling, and I started going heavy into cash buyers. I started sending mail to cash buyers, which a lot of people don't do. Like, they use Investor Lift or whatever, which is a great program. And it wasn't around back when I started wholesaling. So it probably was, I just wasn't aware of it. So we got really good cash buyers. And once we had great cash buyers, it was like, boom, we just
game over,
took off, and then it was like, why would we flip anything? We can make 20, 25 grand, 30 grand on a wholesale deal, not take any risk, not have to deal with utilities, insurance, taxes, none of it.
Right.
So we did that, and then they changed the rules, and now we flip everything again, which, talking about who, not how, I brought on a operations manager, and that has been like, oh my God, the heavens have opened. I can sleep at night. Like, she handles so much, like from transaction coordination to the flip selling, she's on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I taught her how to comp properties, and dude, she's comping properties and like sending a report that's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful report with like suggestions and like, this strategy seems to be the best one for this. And I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So it's made my life like
putting thinking into it, actually. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's incredible. What's so special about the, like, for example, the direct campaigns, direct mail campaigns that you guys are sending out? Yeah.
So I think I mentioned before we started, like, this year we'll be at a 10x ROAS on what we've sent so far. And that's
it's crazy.
That's what our current profit numbers are, and with what's in the pipeline.
That means if you're spending $10, you're getting 100 back.
Yeah. So really, really good. And a lot of people think like, you must be sending so much mail. It's like, no, we send, $10,000 to $20,000 worth of mail per month. So I think one of the drawbacks of where my market is that we don't have as many sellers. So you have less motivated sellers, you have less opportunity, but if you can get the right people on the phone, then you'll be successful. And it comes back to like one of the things I heard on those 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 seller,
Facts.
right? So that's why PPC and PPL are so huge, because they're motivated when they send you the info. So
inbound leads.
Right. So one of the challenges that I have with PPC and PPL in my market is like, one, we have a big geographic area. So if I choose, hey, I want to do Luzerne or Lackawanna County, there's areas in my counties that like they could give me the property for free and I wouldn't make money. So that's one of my challenges there. Whereas here you could get a piece of land or a trailer and it's $200,000, which makes no sense to me, but it works. Like it's crazy. And people specialize in those things. So what I like about mail is when my phone rings, I've qualified them. Right.
Yeah.
So the seller has been pre-qualified for my phone to ring. So anytime the phone rings, I know that they're getting my piece of mail.
Okay. Are you? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. As far as like the steps, what do you mean pre-qualify? Is it because they were calling you back and now it's a hybrid of an outbound and inbound, or is there an extra step right there?
Yeah. So when we pull our lists, so it's kind of a long process, and I've spent so much time like dialing it in, but I'll tell you kind of how it goes. So we pull lists from the county and from other lead sources. So like if there's a list that's hard to get, like for example, I have a VA that pulls like condemned properties. So if there's a condemned property, there's not an easy way to aggregate that data. So I have a VA that will go and scrape those records one by one, put them on a spreadsheet, and then we'll send that person mail. But that's just one list. So like delinquent tax, pre-foreclosure, vacant homes, absentee, successor, pre-probate. So like all of the common lists that you hear of. But then what I'll do is I'll upload all of those lists into PropStream, because anytime you get county data or data from different sources, the data is going to be formatted differently.
Right.
So that makes a challenge to send one big mailer, because the data will be off. And like, dude, I've sent mail before.
You'd have to work on every single spreadsheet, format it. Yeah.
Right. So it becomes super like just a total pain. But like PropStream has a upload tool. So you can actually upload your list, and you just upload with the parcel number, the state, and the county, and it'll find the property. So then all of it becomes formatted in the exact same way. And then you extract that list. But then, so I'll do that with each category that I talked about. So like any of your motivating tiers, all of those would have their own upload and their own download back into like a Google Sheet. And I could show you after. But like my list will have like 20 different lists.
I'm just going to brag that I'm going to get VIP access to all this.
Yeah. It's really good. I mean, listen, when I was at Investor Fuel last weekend, they like randomly were like, hey, we need someone to host a table, like, because they have these little table things, whatever. And so one of them was like tech in business, which I'm like, that's super cool. And they're like, or lead gen. And I'm like, I'm pretty good at lead gen. So I like did the table. Dude, I had like 20 people like all listening to me, and I'm like showing them my tiny screen on my little MacBook or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's really cool. You can't see it, but
No, that's awesome.
So I'll
Mike, on a side note, Mike 𝗵𝗵𝗏 runs a hell of a group over there, man. I love Mike.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, super high level operators. Everyone's willing to share.
Yeah.
Like wherever you're at in your business, there's a room for you to be in, and there's help for you there, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I'll get all those lists, and then I will basically merge them all into one. And what I'll do is I'll put columns on the end of it denoting which list they were on.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll merge all of those lists into one, but keep those columns the same on the end, and then it'll help me score. So now if a property is vacant, pre-foreclosure, delinquent tax, inherited, what do you think the likelihood of that person selling in the next 90 days is?
Yeah.
Through the roof, right? So if I can send that person a piece of mail, that's going to be, they're motivated. Like there's indicators of their motivation. And so if I can stack that list, and I can have 10, 15, 20,000 people that all have a score of 3 or higher on my lists, the likelihood of me having success sending direct mail goes through the roof.
Right.
And I can back it up, So that's basically the process of how I send mail. It takes probably a week for me to like put the whole list together, do everything, get it from all the data sources. But I could put you on some games. So like leadcruncher.com. It used to be successorsdata.com or .org, whatever.
Leadcrunchers.com.
Leadcruncher or Crunchers. It's one of them. But it's like a, subscription service. You can pay for like the different lead categories you want. Another one's failed listing. They have failed listings on there. So if someone tried to sell their house, like having that as a, a column in that spreadsheet is amazing. They've tried to sell and they couldn't.
Yeah. It doesn't get louder than that.
Exactly. And when I export that list, I'll make sure that they have 20% or greater equity. Right? So like when my phone rings, they're either pre-foreclosure, delinquent tax, inherited the house, it's vacant, et cetera, whatever. And they have enough equity for me to be able to buy the deal at a price that makes sense.
Right.
So if your acquisitions team was getting leads like that, how much happier are they going to be talking to that person, because they know, oh, this person's motivated.
Yeah.
Whereas with my experience on pay-per-lead or pay-per-click, it's like, I didn't submit my info. It's like someone did, and you're the person that is their name's on here. So like,
you're right about that. So we do a lot of PPC. I was running my own campaigns in-house. I hired in-house and tried to figure the whole thing out. It didn't pan out. I spent a lot of money there.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah. And we were getting a lot of junk leads like that, a lot of robocalls and stuff like that where it wasn't a real lead. It's like, I didn't submit my info. Like somebody did. So we were getting ghost, sellers per se. After we switched, and they do a hell of a job, but we switched providers. So now Brent Daniels has a PPC agency. I'm going through them. We don't get that a lot. I mean, we'll get a maybe 1 in 50 that's kind of like that,
great,
but
actually.
it's a
That's
very
really good.
clean. It's, I guess what I'm trying to say is it is a thing. And there's also something that you can do about it. What I like about direct mail though is I mean, it's kind of a hybrid, because you are reaching out.
For sure.
You're reaching out to them. You're kind of planting the seed, and then whenever they're ready, they just call you back.
Yep.
And people save mailers for years, man.
I know.
For years.
So, and there's a couple things too. There's a few things that I do right with mail. Like, I'm very consistent. So like a lot of people will send one mailer and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. It's like, I've been hitting the same lists theoretically. I mean, they're all pretty similar, but I've been hitting the same lists for years.
Yeah.
And I've showed up to sellers' houses and they have like 25 mailers that are all mine, you know, and there'll be some others, but they're like, you sent the most mail, so we called you.
Yeah.
Like, clearly you're serious about buying our house. Like, how much have you spent sending us mail?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
spending
well,
$10 on mail, and that one person got you.
Exactly. But it's like, I'm here, so let's do a deal, you know? But then I'll put on there, like, in the event you do end up going with someone else and they decide to cancel at the last minute, give us a call. We might be able to save the sale and close at the same terms on the same day. Let us know.
Yeah.
Right. So when you start in those more competitive markets, having that verbiage, and also like put this with your important house stuff, like little things like that, where it's like, this is important. Maybe I should save this in case that time comes.
Right.
When the foreclosure notice gets posted, or
my cousin can't let me borrow the cash.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you hear it all the time. Like, well, my dog's great aunt is gonna, you know, loan me some money. It's like, no one's gonna loan. Yeah. And then even if they do, like, you've already missed the payments and gotten behind, like the likelihood of that happening again is high. So that's why it's like, you got to keep mailing those lists and keep on them. And then also, like, another one people don't do a lot is like mailing your database. So like, how many warm leads do you have in your database right now?
Oh, dude.
Thousands.
Yeah.
When was the last time you mailed them? You know, there could be $500,000 of revenue in your pipeline right now that you haven't touched in a while.
Absolutely right. I mean, I've done direct mail campaigns. I've never been big on direct mail, just because it hasn't been a strategy that I you know, adopted. But I've done, for example, pre-foreclosure, very niched out, you know, type of targeted mail campaigns. You know, triple hits, you know, different type of mailers to you know, for a specific purpose, that type of stuff. And I mean, we see results and whatnot, but I've never taken it to the level that you have.
And that's what works. Is like, if you're just sending a broad equity list, you're never going to get like, you and I have equity in our homes. We're not going to respond in a positive way to that letter. But someone who inherited a home, it's completely trashed, and it's in foreclosure, they get a piece of mail and they're like, oh, thank God. Right? Like, that's the person you want to hit with the mail. You know, and dude, we've helped sellers, like, and there's been times where we've like bumped our offer 10 or 15 grand because we end up finding out there's a IRS lien that needs to be paid and is attached to the property, even though their spouse had died. It's like, we really do try and help people out. And thankfully some of those deals have enough margin that we can do those sorts of things. But, you know, it's fun to be able to like buy the house, help the person, they're crying, thanking you, how much you've helped them out. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, you're like, this is why we do it.
Creating a win-win, right?
Absolutely.
What does your sending process looks like? So that's the back end. That's how you find the records and the leads. Are you guys doing everything in house? Are you guys doing?
So I use Yellow Letter HQ. My boy Todd 𝗥𝗍𝗄𝗏.
Nice.
He's a G. Good friend.
We're in the family mastermind together.
Okay. He's
a beast.
Great dude. We actually went deep sea fishing.
Last
weekend,
nice.
On his boat. So shout out to Todd. Great guy. Also a dirtbag. No, I'm just kidding. We talk trash to each other all the time. So it's all my real friends, we banter, you know. But so I send mail through him, and I kind of follow his best practices. You know, he sends mail for people that are doing 400,000 or 500,000 pieces.
He's been doing that for years, man. Like, I think
dominates.
He dominates.
He's by far the best priced, the best service. Like, you know, he really has a great team and a great product. And like, I've sent mail from other providers, and no joke, I had one person I sent mail, and they're not in business anymore, but I sent mail through them. And I put myself on the lists because trust is hard. Yeah. You know?
Whenever I send direct mail campaigns, I'm getting one too.
For a couple reasons. One, you want to make sure it goes out. Yeah. Two, you want to know when it goes out.
The timelines. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, should my phone be ringing right now?
Yeah.
Right. So there were times where I'd send mail and literally it wouldn't get the mail, no calls. And so this happened a couple times where it was like 10, 15 grand worth of mail spend.
Wow.
Gone. And how would you verify?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just trusting, you know, so like Todd never had an issue. Can't say enough good things. So I'll just follow his advice on best practices right now.
We'll drop his link too on the show notes.
Awesome. So the pressure sealed checks are really good right now. If you send enough volume, you know, Todd's a smart guy. He wants to incentivize people to send volume. So like you can get wholesale pricing with him it's kind of like tiered. You know, once you send mail, do it enough, you can get some better pricing. And so that's what we do. We send that. And then like another one that's pretty good is like a sorry we missed you. So it looks like something that you'd like leave on someone's door. Yeah. But it's like, oh, and I want to go back. So the pressure sealed checks, everyone's sending them. They're really hot, whatever. We don't put the price on them because what we've found for our market is one, the valuations that anyone gets, whether it's PropStream, Zillow, Yellow Letters, HQ, any valuation you look at, they're all over the board. Yeah. So when you put a number on your check, it's either wildly high, wildly low, and then you start the conversation bad. So it's like,
it's a hit and miss.
Yeah. So if it's like, I tell you, I'm going to buy your house for 200,000, but it's only worth 125. And then I come back and offer you, 75,000 because I have to be under the 125 actual value. Yeah. It's like, you're so mad at me, you're going to leave me a bad review. Yeah. And then on the flip side, it's like if your house is worth 125 and the mailer says 45,000, you're like, get bent, like, so either way people are mad at you. So we've found like just put call today and then the phone actually rings. They're curious, they're interested, they've opened it because it's inquiring. Like you tear the edges.
One thing that worked really really well for us, and I saw it on a few campaigns where we had a higher response rate, we were not sealing the letters.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we left it open, and then we had red writing on it, so they would just kind of crack open the envelope, and the writing was there. So then they pull it out, but we were not sealing the letters.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
And I don't know. I think I did that for maybe a dozen campaigns or something, and the response rates were higher than the same letter sealed.
Wow, interesting. So, I've never thought of that. Yeah,
so
I don't know if they could do that. They probably could.
Yeah, that worked out well. And because, for example, our direct mail hit was the first is a postcard, cheapest, out there. Basically, what we're doing is like, for example, we're hitting a foreclosure list or a tax default list or whatever. We'll send out and then just see what comes back, right? And undeliverable vacants and that type of stuff. And then we scramble for the golden address and the whole shebang. But we'll send that.
Those are lead Sherpa days.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So we go out for that through the list. Come back. You usually get a clean list after that, and then we'll use a more expensive mailer, which is a booklet, or something of that sort, right?
Trifold.
Trifold or something. On a number of them, I did an actual booklet.
Oh, cool.
On just problem solving. The situation if it was a tax default or whatever it was, right? Smart. So we had a couple of different mailers that would come in, get delivered, and then the last one was an LOI. It wasn't a full contract; it was just a letter of intent. Yep. So we'd hit him, that way. But on the final one, the open rates or the callbacks were a lot higher when we were not sealing the
smart
the
super interesting.
Yeah, the letter. So
yeah, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, this is turning into a little master class on direct mail, dude. Thank you for sharing all these golden nuggets.
Yeah, I love it. I do it all the time. And it really comes down to you have to deal with a motivated seller.
Right.
And I heard on a podcast years ago, and it's always stuck with me, is like, if you write on a napkin, hey, I want to buy your house, and you put your phone number and that person's motivated, they're going to call you. Yeah. So like, my whole thing is like, don't get caught on like, well, this color works best with this font, and like, yes, it all matters, to a point, but like just getting mail out the door is going to be the best thing. Like, and it's, you know, we were talking earlier about like getting lost in the weeds of like adjusting the CRM and doing all this stuff. It's like mail is such a lead generating activity that it's like, it's such an easy thing to focus on, but it actually drives revenue.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's helped me be successful is like, I'll be screwing around with all these things. And then I'll be like, oh, if I just send some more mail to the right people, a lot of these problems can kind of resolve themselves because we're going to have more money coming in, you know? I don't know. It's not the best strategy, but it's worked so far. You know?
Well, I mean, with a 10x ROAS, bro.
Yeah, we're doing great. Yeah, we're doing awesome. And that's because I've really nailed down the process of mail. Like being forced to only flip, your cash conversion cycle is so much slower. So with wholesaling, it's like we have a wider net. We can throw mail to more people. Have
you, I mean, and I know you're honed in on Pennsylvania, but have you looked at different states, other areas where you might want to just roll out a wholesaling operation?
I've looked at it a lot. I've kind of dabbled in it. Like I've done some advertising in Florida. I've, kind of all over like the Midwest too. But I haven't like said, hey, I'm going to do this, partially because like what we do works so well in our
Why
market.
break it?
Yeah. Like, so that's part of it. But like we randomly did a deal in Florida that was like a $35,000 wholesale fee, which is awesome. But then I'm like, all right, should we try to duplicate that? Like, was it a one-off? And so I've eased off of that because it's like, I don't want to spend 10, 15, 20 grand per mailing and do 4 or 5 mailings and then realize like, why am I doing this when Pennsylvania works so well?
Right.
And we're in just 2 small counties. And like our total population between the 2 of them is like 500,000.
I like your approach, man. I mean, it's by design. It's not random.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like we can get enamored with the idea of like growth and scaling and all that stuff. But I mean, that shit also grows and scales your headaches. So
here's the thing that so like going to this I was at Investor Fuel last week. I think I mentioned that like 4 times now probably. But one of my key takeaways is you hear people present their numbers, and the like saying that keeps coming back to me is, gross profit is vanity, net profit is sanity. Yeah. So like by honing down our lists, by honing down our mailings to where we're only sending to the most motivated people, we get that 10x ROAS. But also there's less stress on the team. There's less cancellations. There's less everything. There's less calls. Yeah. Right? Like, so if we can be
less but better.
Exactly. So if we could be at 60% net profit, which we'll probably hit, and that's after paying acquisition people, mail, everything. Like if you can hit 60% net profit, you're doing better than a lot of the guys that are doing $5 million a year in gross. Yeah. Right. So like, what are we really doing? And then like, what does my life look like? Because I have 3 young daughters and a wife. Like, I'd rather not do 10 million a year and clear $1 million, which $1 million a year is awesome. But if I could do that, sending very targeted mail to the right people at the right time in the right cadence, and I have a team that can help manage all of it, my lifestyle is 10 times better.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. And I mean, it's very true. I think at the end of the day, we get into the business, right? Or become entrepreneurs, not just for financial, gains and success, but also if the time is not there, right? If the freedom for you to, step out and do whatever you want to do on a Tuesday, it's not there. I mean, for the sake of what?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think we would all trade that. Yeah. I never want to look back 10, 20 years from now and be like, I gave up all this time with my kids for what? Yeah. It's like, but if I could work 4, 5, 6 hours a day and then spend great time with my family, I'm going to be better off and I'm going to be happier. They're going to be happier.
Absolutely. Not to be confused, right? This takes a while. It takes a while to build 100%. Up your operation. Like you're not going to start in real estate tomorrow and then be able to work 4 hours a day. Right. And then like it takes a while to get to a point where you're batting,
Yeah.
Well,
and also I say all that, but I have another business I started last year that does take up a ton of time. So
well, that's yeah, but that's kind of like, it's part of the entrepreneur DNA, right? It's like the entrepreneur illness. It's like, I have 2 hours free a day. What should I do with that?
I know. Well, I know we have to be productive, but yeah. And I'll challenge you with a question. If you were to decide today, I'm done with my real estate business, what's it worth? How much could you get out of it?
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
I would argue very little.
Yeah, because normally, especially wholesaling operations or fix and flip operations, we're selling the assets. I mean, anything that makes the money.
There's not much value.
Yeah, there's not a lot of value. I mean, we don't have, unless you have a building that goes, long, but then you're selling the real estate.
Right.
So they're not usually,
so you're actually business value. And
yeah.
And so that's been a struggle of mine.
Yeah.
Is like, how much time are we building this asset that generates a ton of cash?
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed and I'm so grateful to do it. But what are we building truly long term?
Yeah.
And this comes from like, I have a buddy who's sold a steel business where they build these frames for roofs. He sold it for like $17 million. And it's like, dude, he built that over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing things the same
amount of time. It's just different verticals.
It's a different business, but like there's value in that. So it's like, and then we could get into some other stuff, but like, if we're going to spend as much time, and here's the most important piece. How quickly do you have to respond to a lead? Seconds?
Yeah.
A minute? 5 minutes, it's dead.
Yeah. We have this, you were talking about speed to lead, from back in the day when you were an agent, right? Like you calling them right away.
Yep.
We have this one thing that we do on the PPC campaign. So people go to our landing page, right? Mm-hmm. They go there, boom, boom, boom. They do the, the submission, the read submission. And then the thank you page has a big old video of me just keeping them entertained for the next 30 to 1 minute, depending on which landing page you go to. But it's just me talking about the stuff that they read. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like I'm almost like, kind of like wiggling.
Dangling
some shiny stuff. Hey, look at me for 30 seconds.
Yeah. While your team calls.
Yeah, exactly. So the point of that is to keep him, attentive to us and not go surfing somewhere else.
Exactly.
But that's how fast it's got to be. Like you have to call them with PPC leads are within 30 seconds.
Right. Have you tried calling a roofer lately?
A roofer? No, I haven't.
Or a contractor?
Contractors, yeah, but
do they answer?
No. Yeah.
That's my point. So in real estate, we have to operate at the highest level all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You could be a contractor and pick up the phone and make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And guess what? Those businesses sell for multiples.
Yeah.
So like that's the challenge and that's the struggle is like, dude, we are operating at the highest level of operational efficiency, but our business is worth nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in reality, having a real estate operation doesn't, like a wholesaling business, fix and flip, they're cash engines. Right.
And they generate a ton.
They generate a lot, and cash cows. Like if you work them right, but you have to park those cookies somewhere. Exactly. I mean, like you're doing, for example, with your 5+ mil portfolio. So it's growing. That's feeding you. So that's the caveat, right? To not having that value within the business. You're still building it somewhere else and using the business as a tool.
Exactly. So. Yeah. And so, go ahead. Sorry.
What? No, go ahead. Finish that thought.
Yeah. So, one of the things I've been doing lately is having these realizations, and what we're building is like I'm buying more rentals. And so I've kind of done that differently. And I think that might be important to touch on. So a couple of like fuel meetings ago, I'm like having this realization that our businesses are valueless, and we're doing all this work and we're operating at these levels. And I'm like, well, how do I buy rentals and make as much money as I would wholesaling or flipping it, but keeping it? Mm-hmm. How do I do that? What could I do? So everyone knows about the BRRRR strategy: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Well, you get paid on the, fourth step.
Yeah.
How do we get paid on the first step when we buy it? Right. So that's kind of what I've been doing over the last like 6 months. And I've kind of nailed it down. I think like I have some pretty good, track record of doing it. So what we're doing now is like, we'll buy the property and we'll buy it using a private lender. So the private lender will lend us the money to buy it, to rehab it, and the profit. So we're pulling out that cash.
You're pulling out the profit on the front end.
And then you can go to like 𝗖𝗄𝗏 or whatever other lender, as long as you're within their LTVs, they'll do a rate term refi with no seasoning. Right? So you're pulling cash out on the front side to buy it. You keep the asset. You have less tax burden. You get paid at closing, just like a wholesale deal, which is awesome.
Yep.
But now you're building some value. And you're in control of the process because you're not hoping your end buyer closes. Right. So that's one thing that I've been doing. The other one is buying the property.
How do you structure, before you jump onto that second step, how are you structuring that payout? Is it just over financing? Is there a separate?
No, it's over financing. Yeah. I mean, I just over lever the deal on the front side, but it all comes down to the motivated seller. You're buying the right deal. You still have to be under those LTVs, right?
So you got to buy it right.
Stuck. Yeah. So you have to know what you're doing. And I think the caveat is like, you probably couldn't do that here in Phoenix because your rents won't justify your purchase prices.
Yeah.
So like in my market, we're a decent cash flow market. So like, I think you could do this like in pretty much all of the Midwest. You could do this strategy. The other thing that I've been doing,
we're doing a lot of stuff in Indy.
Yeah, Indianapolis. I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that's a great market. Yeah, I mean, we might talk after. I'm curious about like nationwide type stuff because every deal we do, we lock up over the phone. So
yeah,
like we have
same here.
We have the process.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, what I coach, what I teach is virtual real estate wholesale.
Yeah, So maybe we could exchange notes. I'll teach you some mail stuff. You'll teach me.
Done and done.
Yeah. So the second strategy, and I've only done this on one, but it like came to me on a 5 a.m. morning walk. I'm like listening to a book, not paying attention, but just walking. And I had this deal that I had purchased, and I don't remember if I had bought it cash or what happened, but I'm like, how do I make money more than once on this deal? And it was a duplex. I bought it really well. I think it was like I bought it for $60,000, which you can buy duplexes in the United States for that low and less. So I bought this property. It was in decent enough shape, but I got a loan on it for $135,000 and then from a private lender. And then I sold it on a lease option to a buyer. And so the option fee was $14,000. So I got paid on the cash out and I think that was like $50,000 I got. And then I got another $14,000, which I paid my brokers. So let's call it 10. So I got another $10,000. And then I did a triple net lease with the buyer. So my note was $900 a month and he's paying $1,500 a month. So there's $600
cash flow,
pure cash flow per month. And so I got paid when I bought it $50,000. I got paid when I sold the lease option $10,000, and I'm getting paid $600 per month. And he has to hold it for a minimum of 1 year before he can execute the option. So that means when I sell it, it's long-term capital gains, not short-term.
Yeah.
So now I've just cut my taxable income on that, or my tax burden on that by half.
That's a great strategy. Are you structuring the private money loans for 6 months, a year, or do you just go to a refi and?
Well, I mean, this one I just kept the private note in place throughout the life of it, and I think it's a 3-year note. So
okay,
so it's not a problem. So that one's a cool deal, like so, right now it's so competitive, right? So we all know that, like, and then the market's really changing. So like when we're looking at deals now, we should really look at like, how do we get paid today? How do we get paid tomorrow and next month and the month after?
Right.
And then also like, what ways can we structure these deals in a way that helps ourselves and helps the seller out? And that might be paying them more money, but doing it in a creative way. You know? So that's been fun.
No, I mean, those are, I feel like the need, right, to think outside the box it's more important than ever.
Yeah.
Like it's more prominent than ever.
For sure.
It's we can't just do a wholesale cash offer, for example, and then expect to hit it. You know, like we were doing back in 2012, 13,
Seriously,
14.
Yeah. I missed those days.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. You really sharpened your teeth out there, man, when you were having like belly to belly conversations with people and then getting into it.
Yeah.
But I feel everything was I guess
less sophisticated.
Yeah, well, it was, and I think across the board, right? From the wholesaler standpoint, from the seller standpoint, from the apps and software and the data standpoint, like everything was just. I mean, we were, dude. I mean, I remember just stacks and stacks of folders on the the backseat of my car, man, just going on home appointments.
I love it.
And now with all the tools and everything that we have in place, like we can roll out strategies in any market and be able to do these types of things. You still have to be tapped into the market and know what's going on, right, to make it work.
Sure.
But you got to think outside the box. So like if the wholesale offer doesn't work, okay, do we go into a creative financing deal? Do we do innovation? Do we do keep this one, do a fix and flip, right? And if so, how can I monetize in multiple different points of the transaction on this one deal, because the opportunity is there if you're a little creative. So,
for sure.
Yeah, dude, great conversation, man. I appreciate you sharing all the wealth of knowledge on the direct mail campaign.
Yeah,
Direct mail, like, it can be intimidating. It's not the cheapest, marketing strategy out there. A lot of, for example, opting for cold calling type of stuff. So doing it right is important. The way that you're doing it, I mean, it's I'm gonna roll it out. Yeah. I'll stay away from Pennsylvania just as a courtesy.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Hey, listen, if you want to come and close in my market, you have to close.
No,
so by all means, figure it out.
You got that down.
Yeah.
I'll go to Indy. I like Indy. But yeah, bro. This is one question before we start signing off. One question that I like to ask everybody that I have on the podcast is, if you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self, what advice would you give that kid?
Everything is your fault.
I live by that.
Me too. And
dude,
I realized it was a core value because I had an employee who wasn't living that mentality.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about core values, but I was like, okay, yeah, those are for big companies, whatever. And so it was like, it just drove me wild that like I would tell them, hey, you did this thing that wasn't good. And it was excuse. So everything's your fault. So if you're not happy with your income, that's your fault. If you're not happy with your living situation, that's your fault. If you're not happy with your spouse, your car, your environment, whatever it is, it's your fault. If you're not happy with your body, it's your fault. And it's harsh, but once people take the responsibility for it being their fault, now you're empowered.
Yep.
Now you can change it because it's your fault. And once you unlock that cheat code to the universe, everything gets better. Yeah. So if I had known that at 17, I don't know. Who knows?
It's a very, very powerful way of looking at life, right? The bad stuff is my fault. The good stuff is also my fault. Yep. And it's a real checks and balances on where we're standing at any point in time. But I love that, man. I live by that.
Me too. Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go.
Damn. Dude, it's been great having you on the podcast.
Yeah,
if somebody wants to continue the conversation, man, reach out to you.
Yeah.
Connect, do deals with you maybe. Where's the best place to find you?
I'm on Instagram, so it's @𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 𝗥𝗳𝗍𝗏 on Instagram. You can shoot me an email. It's josh@makemeacashoffer.com. Yeah.
Boom.
Great.
Awesome.
Love
Well,
it.
fam, there you guys have it. I mean, I would urge you or highly suggest that you go back through the podcast and listen to the entire breakdown of, if you take anything away from this episode, I think, just the strategy alone on direct mail is gonna take you places. But on top of that, man, the mindset that you have, the work ethic that you have, or built into everything that you do, that's what it takes,
Yeah,
right? So you're gonna take inspiration, you're gonna take lessons, and you're gonna take really badass tools for lead generation as well.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
go back to it. So
Appreciate that.
yeah, with that, fam, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay focused. You got this.